spots away.
9th place.
Oh, trouble.
Contact. Spencer Gallagher and Kyle Busch. Busch into the wall.
That's us. We're 30-23 guys.
Heavy damage to the left side of the machine of Kyle Busch.
Looked like Spencer Gallagher just got a little bit loose.
Kyle was 13th at the time.
You can see he can't make any more progress with that truck, taking the wheel off, hopping out. Probably a little bit disappointed and upset with what happened there.
He's climbing out. 23 got us.
Kyle Busch with Jordan Anderson underneath Gallagher.
Yeah, I think Jordan went into the corner and gave Anderson a little bit of extra room, and that caused him to be higher than Kyle expected him to be, and the two made contact. It almost looked like Spencer turned away from Jordan Anderson, and that was just enough to get into that left rear of Kyle Busch's truck.
But Parker Kligerman had to avoid that mishap as well, nearly got involved. A couple of guys from Las Vegas went bust.
Whoa, look at the position. Yeah, Abreu looks like maybe he was on the outside of Self. Self got loose and they made a little bit of contact. You can see that's pretty significant. Look at the Bondo and parts and pieces fly off that 22 truck as he hits.
Tough break for both these drivers and teams.
I think Abreu's going to be able to get away, Vince, without much damage. This will certainly set Self well back.
He had a season best 13 just a few races ago back at Texas. Did Self. More on that situation with Hermie.
Vince, a lot of damage
down off the road.
I wonder if maybe something was going wrong with that motor because he had so much momentum. Now we talk about the draft as we see the engine expire on Brett's truck, but maybe things started tightening up a little bit. And that's what really made it look like Christopher Bell was running about 10 miles an hour faster than him.
Come out front. To the quarter bumper. Clear. All clear. Blowing up behind you. Up and down back.
Difficult it is. Look how sideways Kyle Busch is. That car's crashed. It's basically crashed. He putting down its own tire tracks. He saves it and unbelievably doesn't overcorrect. It's so easy for that car to turn back to the right. He works it back and forth. That is pure just ability and reaction at that point.
Were you seeing the front tires like I was?
Exactly. and so that's what's so difficult when this car gets this sideways. Look at the left front tire. It's turned to the right, but it's not turned to the right too much. And as soon as the car started back left,
let's take a look.
You can see that car just get a little bit loose, and there's just such a small margin for error because we talk about these racetracks, a newly paved track. You've got this groove where everybody's running, but just outside of that groove, once you get those right side tires in there, there's no grip whatsoever, and you just don't have time to react. And that looks to me like that'll be a backup car. There's a lot of damage.
It does look like a backup car.
Let's take a look at what happened to Brandon Jones. You mentioned he's in the 33, a teammate with Brendan Gaughan in that 62.
You see he's getting into the corner into turn 3. He's actually approaching turn 4, and for whatever reason, it just got out of the groove. And then once he got out of the groove, he was along for the ride. Listen to the throttle. So he got into the corner. He got into the corner and kind of missed the bottom. He probably was a little bit tight, missed the bottom. He went ahead and fed the throttle, because a lot of racetracks.
Round goes Kurt Busch. Some heavy contact there in the right rear as well, Rick. And we saw just moments ago, Kurt Busch.
Hard to turn 3 that lap. He just drove in there straight.
We saw moments ago, Kurt Busch got very, very loose, and apparently it got worse. Let's take a look at what happened.
Yeah, early in the corner, he entered turn 3, and for whatever reason, I don't know if he got loose getting in the corner or what happened, but he just couldn't he couldn't turn it, and he ended up way out of the groove, probably earlier than.
And that was a little bit of a wiggle.
No, that's not good. Big wiggle.
We hit the wall here, Nick.
Yeah. Oh, careful.
Pit road. Hang on. Stay ground. Good job.
See, he just never got the car turned down in turn 3. You can see, he was faster than Suarez as he entered turn 3 by our time, but he just never got the car turned down and then tried to keep that momentum. if you're going to stay in the throttle, you can see right there he started fighting it just even before he got to the center of the corner.
Not having to pit under green, he was getting close to the end of his fuel run, so this will drag Brad Keselowski and all of the leaders to pit road. But once again, with only about 25, 26 laps on this fuel run, I would expect all the crew chiefs to still only take either right or left side tires.
You see Matt Benedetto, he's in the corner. Car looks like it just goes straight, almost maybe like another tire failure. I tell you what this has me thinking, and we heard Joey Logano say it, this racetrack is much more like a short track than it is than a mile and a half, typical mile and a half. It makes me wonder if these drivers aren't having to use more brake than they anticipated to get the car slowed down, and they're melting beads. We've seen this before. We've seen rotor issues when we come to racetracks when teams aren't expecting them to be this slow. See the yellow and red car going down the back straightaway. See the right front failed. You saw the hood blow up. That right there was when the right front failed, and now it's just the car is just not going to turn. It's going to go straight. I'm sure most likely damage from when he got in the wall earlier, although I didn't really see the right front of the car hit the wall at any point. But we have seen no tire issues in the Cup cars at all this weekend, so it's hard to believe it didn't have something to do with it.
We talked about how treacherous the racetrack is.
Around goes the 48. Jimmy Johnson around and into the wall. Caution comes out again.
Hold the brakes.
Jimmy Johnson.
Happened. See the 48, he just got in there and got loose. I mean, plain and simple, he was underneath another car, lost the side force, lost down force, had to chase up the racetrack. It just got away from him.
Yeah, almost in a 3-wide position. I don't think if he was completely 3-wide, but Kyle Busch was looking underneath the 48. He had another car on the outside of him. It looks like it was the 21 of Ryan Blaney. Definitely a compromised position in the
Take a quick look at it here.
So he's driving down the back straightaway, goes into turn 3. We know he hit the wall already once before. Probably has damage to the car. Looks like to me it probably cut a tire down, ends up getting into the wall. But all that started because of what happened the lap before. And this is what we've been talking about all weekend long. We've been seeing these kind of incidences happen. This track is tough.
Very difficult to figure out the 90 of Alex Gwinnett. Take a look.
Yeah, the 90 of Alex Gwinnett looks like he's still entering pit road. And the 88 of Cole Custer is going to try to leave pit road right here. And the 90 turns across the left, taking a left. He's the car on the left side of the screen. You see heavy contact with Cole Custer. That is some heavy damage to the right front fender, Dave.
And Steve, we saw it down here. The crew now 2 steps to this process. They're cutting away the fender now, and something is...
Kyle Busch is going to lose another spot, and around they go on the backstretch. Chris Buescher involved in the 34. 44 of Brian Scott also involved in this one. A lot of damage to the 34. Look at the front of that race car.
That took a huge impact right there.
So disappointing for this team. They had ran well in every practice. They showed speed all weekend long. They kept getting themselves further back in the pack. 4 tires on pit road. They got blocked on pit road one time and kept getting them back in the pack. And this is the danger of being back there. They had a good race car tonight.
2. But then looks as though Kyle Larson may have been in the back of him when he came off of 2. And there's the heavy contact.
Yeah, and you saw the backfire out of the tailpipes of the 44 as he was trying to save the car. It looked like he was maybe on and off the throttle. His speed probably reduced. The 42 is right behind him. You see the safer barrier doing a good job absorbing some of the impact there.
And when a car gets that slow in front of you, you can be all the way off the gas and you're still pushing them. You know, Kyle Larson looked to be in the back of him, but all the trouble started, and Kyle just couldn't get slowed down.
A little bit of damage to the front end of 10 of Danica Patrick. But a lot of damage to Chris Buescher's number 34. Another look. There was the impact between Chris Buescher and the 44 of Brian Scott. A.J. Allmendinger involved, as well as the 95 of Ty Dillon. Contact there also with the 7. Kevin Harvick goes right by.
Rewind.
Oh, and around goes the 21 of Ryan Blaney. Chase Elliott as well. The 2 youngest on the racetrack are around.
I saw it 3 wide, and I wondered how in the world is that going to work. and it didn't. Chase Elliott actually looked like this car was relatively aggressive. You have to make things happen, and this all started because everybody's trying to make something happen. 78 gets pulled around by the 4 car, slows everybody up. Now we're 3 wide going into the corner. Somebody's got to make a decision right here. Do I want to be 3 wide? 21 gets loose, gets into the side of the 24. Both of them have long nights.
That 21 was right in the
Saw a lot of smoke out of the car before it hit the wall, and then the hood comes up. You know, it's
15 underneath the 10 of Danica Patrick. He's already sideways. Now he's trying to chase it up the racetrack. He's just loose underneath her. Did a really good job of staying off of her. I mean, he really did. She did a nice job of maintaining her pace, and it's along for the ride at this point.
And that's what you had just discussed. That
look at the rotor glowing in the front, though.
Yep.
See, I'm sorry, it's not the rotor glowing. That's a mark on the wheel.
Getting to the side of a car, though, and that's what happened with Danica Patrick. Just was on the outside of the 15, takes that air off of the spoiler, and around goes the 15.
He's also compromised. You can see they were pretty much 3 wide, so we entered very shallow, meaning he had to turn early, getting into the corner, and on top of that, he had all the downforce being taken off of the car. And